Uh, Good morning, students. I am Dr. Nitendra Palankar. I am from Civil Department. So today I will be giving a brief introduction to this particular subject, that is research methodology, which is introduced as an open elective for the 7th semester. So the subject code for this particular subject is 18 CV 763, and the department that is offering this particular course, the course is Civil Department. So totally we have around 120 students who can enroll for this particular subject, that is research methodology. Now here, today I'll be telling you the importance of this particular subject and how this particular subject is going to help you for your curriculum and also for your project works. Now, as such, research methodology, it is a subject wherein we will be mainly discussing the various aspects of research. That is how to carry out research and how the methodology of research has to be done. As such, we do carry out various types of projects for our B students and all those things, but not all are research based projects. So in order to create or in order to work with a research based project, you need to know how the research has to be done. So that is what we will be discussing in this particular subject, that is the research methodology. This particular subject is important for students who are mainly going to opt for doing projects in the campus, and also if they decide to do research based projects. Okay. So main thing that you can come out in this particular from this particular subject, or when you choose to work on a research based project, it is always preferred that we publish some papers and also find out some new things or carry out some novel research work. So in order to come to this particular outcome, that is in order to find out what are the novel works that you can carry out, and also in order to publish a particular paper, we need to know how the paper or the journal paper writing is done, and also we need to know how the literature studies has to be done. So in order to understand all those things, this particular subject is particularly helpful. Now, as such, what is the main objective for this learning this subject? We need to understand how the research is done. So once you start studying this subject, you will get to know what are the various aspects that you need to take care whenever you are starting with a particular project. Firstly, we need to understand what are the available problems in the particular society, okay, or in your field of or in your domain, okay, and in that how to go with the literature search in the using the literature, that is the available published papers, available theses and available journals, how to identify a problem. Now, for every project, it is very much necessary that we understand that there is a novelty in a particular project, that is your work that is you are going to do, that is not done by anyone else before. So we need to carry out the literature survey for all these things, and to understand the novelty, that is there is a gap wherein you can work on. So coming to all this requires proper methodology. You need to have a what you call disciplined method wherein you go through and understand how we can attain this particular novelty in your project works. So mainly in this particular subject, we will be discussing various things. We will be studying the methodology of research, how to begin with, from where to begin with, what should be the method of studying the literature, what should be the method of writing the literature, what should be the data sampling that you need to do, also what should be the procedures that you need to follow to analyze the data, and all such things, that is the interpretation of data and all those things we will be studying. We will also be discussing the various tools that are available in research. There are lots of tools with which we can carry out research very easily. So all those research tools, various research methods, what are there, that also we will be discussing. Also, for some of the research, especially for MBA students, or for also for data science students, it is we require lots of data that has to be collected. So for that, how the surveys have to be done, what should be the questionnaires that are required for collecting the data, and how this data is analyzed, how it is presented, and all such things we will be taking care, or we will be understanding in this particular subject. So as such, if you see the course outcomes, you will be able to, or the students will be able to design appropriate methodology for research. They will also be able to what you call evaluate the sampling procedures, that is whatever data you are having in that, how to sample, which data set to take for a particular research work. All these things we will be discussing, or you will be understanding, and how these data can be analyzed, and also the procedure to carry out the best survey. Now, as such, we have 5 units for this subject, and each unit is of 8 hours. So, in the unit number 1, we will be studying the basics of research methodology, wherein we will be given the introduction about the research and what exactly is research, why it is needed, and what are the different approaches that are available in research, and what are the criteria, what is the research process, how research is done. All these things we will be discussing. So, mainly the introduction about the research that is carried out, we will be discussing in the unit number 1. Okay. The unit number 2 mainly deals with the defining of the research problem. Again, as I told you, we need to find out, or we need to identify an area which is untouched by other researchers, wherein we can work on. Okay, so that we call it as a research problem. So how to identify that, what are the literature that we need to refer, and how the method of reading literature is done, and how do we identify this gap or the state of art literature, and all those things we will be discussing in this. Again, in this, there are, if you go through the data set, or if you go through the journals or the textbooks, or if you go through the what you call various theses that are available, we have lots of data or lots of papers available. In this, which papers to select, how to narrow down your particular literature, and how to identify the research problem. All these things we'll be discussing in the unit number 2. So basically, we are going to, in this unit number 2, we will be mainly focusing on the identification of, or the identification or the recognition of the novelty of a particular work. Okay, so in the unit number 3, we will be discussing about the sampling. So again, there are lots of data that will be required for different kinds of work. So in order to carry out a proper research, what data set has to be taken, okay, and how this particular data has to be collected, what are the different methods of collection, and various techniques are available from which you can get the data. So all these methods that are available, we will be discussing. Again, as you can see in the unit number 3, there are various methods like observation method, interview method, and questionnaire methods. Likewise, different types of methods are there. We will be studying these different methods that are available, which will help you to collect the data that is needed for the research that is to be carried out. Okay, so again, in the unit number 3, mainly it is related to how you sample your data set, or how you collect the data set, and how you will be using it. Okay, in the unit number 4, that is that we will be mainly talking about the surveys. Okay, so surveys also play a very important role in a research that we do. Okay, so in that, what is the importance of surveys, and what are the different types of surveys, what are the different thumb rules that are available, what errors can occur, and how the survey is to be carried out. All these methods and all these techniques we will be discussing. So again, survey plays a very important role. Okay, because survey gives us a one of the survey is one of the methods with which we can carry out a proper data set. And again, the data set that we have got, what errors can be there in this particular data that is collected, and how we can correct it, and all those things we shall be discussing it in the unit number 4. In the unit number 5, we are going to mainly discuss about the intellectual property right. Now again, intellectual property herein, we will be mainly discussing about IPR, copyrights, patents, and all such things. Now here, again, as I told you, the research methodology, or the research basically means something that you're working on, which is not done by someone else. So if you feel that, okay, if your research is very good, or whatever research you have done, you want to protect it, or you want your rights on that, then for that we have to follow certain legal and judicial procedures. So that comes under the section of intellectual property. So what are the different methods of intellectual property, what patents mean, what do you mean by copyrights, what trademarks means, all these things we will be discussing in the unit number 5. This is mainly going to give you information how and which way you can protect your research that is already done. Okay, and so that nobody else misuses it, and what you call uses it for his or her benefit. Okay, so it is always advisable that you always what you call register the kind of work or the kind of research that you have done it. Okay, and also again, in the second part we will also be dealing with certain techniques of analysis. There are some various techniques of analysis which is mainly related to multivariate analysis and all such things. So those things also we shall be discussing. So overall, in this 5 units of your research methodology, we will be starting with how the research has to be done, or from the basics, how to start with the research, then how the data is collected, how the surveys are carried out, and finally how you can protect your particular research through the legal procedures. So these things we will be discussing. So again, as I told you, this is particularly important. Most of you will, this particular subject is introduced in the 7th semester, because now from the 7th semester itself you all will be planning for your 8th semester project. So again, research requires a little bit of background work that has to be done. So this is introduced in the 7th semester so that you carry out the background work that is needed for the 8th semester project if it's a research project. Okay, and so that you can carry out proper disciplined research. So this particular subject will be offered to 120 students across all the departments, and the textbooks that you will be referring, it is mentioned here. You have two textbooks are mentioned. Again, there are many textbooks that are available. You can refer any of this. Some few references also have been given here. Now the modes of examination, it is the same that is there for almost all the other subjects through in your scheme. We have 2 IAs, 15 marks each. Okay, addition of 2 will be taken. Then there are 2 open book assignments, 10 marks for that. Then quiz, seminars and course activities, 10 marks, and totally you will have for 50 marks. Okay, writing 2 IAs is compulsory, and minimum marks that is required to qualify is same, that is 20 marks out of 50 marks for SEE. Okay, and other rules and guidelines also are mentioned here. It will be a 3-hour examination of 100 marks. So the same rules that are there for the other subjects, same apply or for this particular subject also. So if there are anything else, or if any other additional information is needed before choosing this particular subject as your open elective, you can contact us. I am available in the Department of Civil Engineering. Okay, my name is Dr. Nitendra Palankar. Again, I am repeating that. You can come anytime. You can get the information, more details about this particular subject. Okay, and any information is needed, I will be providing you. So you can register for this course once you come back to the college. Okay, thank you very much.